You land theoretically on that, that's fine with me. But it must be shared. It has to be relational. So there's this witnessing that starts with an acknowledgement of what you've been through. And just another reason that we don't really go there, I think, is because we feel like it's going to be completely overwhelming. We're going to bring up and drudge up all this emotional stuff, and then it's just going to feel terrible. We're going to have nightmares, and we can't really afford to fall apart, right? Because you have a clientele, you have a hard job, you have a stressful job, and you have kids, and you have a family, and it's like, what? Am I going to go and get all angry at my dad and make a big deal out of nothing, and then get all frustrated, and then I'm going to be all depressed, and I can't work, and I'm all distracted, and then I'm going to eat a bunch, or I'm going to drink a bunch, or I'm not going to sleep well. It's like, that's a hassle. No thanks. And I think that's a fair intuition, and I think that's good. You need to do it in pieces. You need to do it in parts. You can't do it all at once. There's a story, Pandora's box, the old myth, that all the gods gave Pandora a box full of gifts. And when she opened the box, all the maladies of mankind came swimming out of the box. And in a panic, she closed the box. And it says in the story that she closed it right before the last thing escaped. And the last thing trapped in the box was hope. Maybe reality has given you a box that you didn't expect. You expected a life full of enjoyment and warm relationship and exciting experiences, and the further you got in, you realized that whatever reality gave you, whatever the gods gave you, it's full of all sorts of maladies and suffering and pain that you had no idea was in there. If you shut up the box too quickly, you'll lose your hope. You will. And so the process of actually experiencing and witnessing this trauma is to open it up one piece at a time. So it's not overwhelming, because there's nothing therapeutic about getting re-traumatized and re-experiencing all of your stuff all at once. You need to acknowledge and actually witness it in relationship. I'm sure many of you could give way better explanations of the brain and trauma and what it means to flip your lid and your HPA axis and hyperarousal and hypoarousal and all the hormones. I'm sure that we've all heard the speech, and we give that speech to our clients all the time. I think all of us here probably know enough to say that the thing that regulates overwhelm, whether you're the type of person who values a top-down regulation, a bottom-up regulation, top-down would be I think, I use my mind to calm down my body, right? Where the bottom-up is I use my body to calm my mind, more somatic approaches versus more cognitive approaches. The thing that is the common thread throughout all of these trauma modalities, as far as I've read, is the thing that's most regulating, it's relationship. Right? That's why the therapeutic alliance is the thing that matters most. When we read all the data, it's what therapy modality heals people the best? It's you need a loving, caring relationship with your therapist. And it's why? What? Because that is probably a bigger element in the healing process than we really give credit. Is the relationship, the trust that you have with someone who's safe, and someone who loves you. And that could be a therapist, that could be someone in your church, that could be a mentor, that could be a friend. It could be a dog. I've seen it happen.